Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Erica Stoltz of Sanhedrin. How are you today, Erica?
Pretty fair for a square.
First thing on a Monday. Thank you for being a trooper for giving us some of your time today. Thank you. And
It's a pleasure. I'm in
yeah,
between classes, so
nice work. There you
know.
go. There you go. That's the hustle. We're all grinding along, and obviously, the whole world is on fire. There's war and plague and stuff. I hope you're okay. The band members are okay. Your families, your friends, people you care about.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, knock wood, no bombs are dropping on us and nobody's sick, so we're all right.
That's a relief, and we hope it stays.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a weird time in the world, but I'm so glad there's music to talk about. And
Yeah, me too.
the new Sanhedrin record, Lights On, out on Metal Blade, your first release, I believe, for Metal Blade after a while on the
Correct.
great Cruz del Sur, at least great to us. Such a good record and such a strong record. And what I thought I would do for a change of pace, since we've chatted a few times over the years, was we'd do a rundown of the tracks. But
Okay.
first and foremost, congratulations on this killer record, and
Thank you.
congratulations on Metal Blade, because if you're gonna sip the champagne, you want the expensive stuff, the $100 bottle, not the $10 bottle.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it puts us in front of a whole lot more people.
Right,
And that's really what we want. So,
right on.
not that Cruz was a bummer because they were. I mean,
Yeah,
Enrico is great.
yeah, they're fan. I'm not
You know,
insinuating it. They're wonderful. We love them. We love most of their bands are killer,
yeah,
and they did a great job with your band. Actually,
I think
got a
so.
lot, got you on the radar of a lot of people.
For
So
sure.
shout out to them. And
Yeah.
Metal Blade celebrating 40 years. They did put heavy metal on the map. First releases by Slayer,
Oh,
Metallica. So
when I first started collecting, I mean, I was buying Metal Blade
yeah,
and
everybody.
Death and
And I
all of
and
that.
And I
That's
feel like Metal Blade was the first metal record where it was like, oh, if it's on Metal Blade, it must be good.
right.
Just go get it.
Yeah.
But at least that's me. Um,
Mhm.
that
No,
culture
it's
came up.
true. It's like
Yeah,
everything kind of got vetted through
yeah,
a certain lens.
yeah.
But
In
yeah,
America, we'll say in America, because after a while, you had your earaches and your napalms and your nuclear blasts and your Century Media, everybody else,
sure.
Roadrunner came later, but in America, Metal Blade was the granddaddy. So, anywho, I definitely want to let's run down these tracks, and like I said off air, whatever you feel comfortable with, share some impressions. If you feel like
Sure.
revealing some meanings or any
Absolutely.
notes you have to share about these killer
Yeah, I'll
tracks on
try to
life.
I'll try to remember my notes.
Yeah,
Uh,
right off,
first track is Correction.
right, yeah,
And that song, the first line references the pandemic, but early when the track got dropped as our first single in the lead up to the release, people were like, pandemic song, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, you know what? It's really not a pandemic song. So I'm going on the record, it's not a song about the pandemic, but more a song about, like, I took the term correction from the economic meaning, right? So things go way in one way and then they correct themselves. And that's kind of what the song's about. And then how we as a species really kind of dictate that ebb and flow and how crazy it's going to get on either side, you know.
nice. I get that reference. I used to work in finance. I actually put myself through school working in the terrible world of finance. But it does
Yeah.
have a, I always felt like, oh, that's like also humans. The title track comes next, Lights On.
Lights on. So, I'll reference the album art for that one. The album art is by Jack Welch, Seventh Bell. And Jack did all of our albums. This one got, pretty involved pretty quick, and he did an amazing job. But it's a curtain, right? Uh, and the curtain is a cityscape at night, kind of peaceful. And then there's a hand drawing the curtain back, and behind the curtain, there's just a world on fire. So I kind of think that that's what Lights On is probably mostly about.
And it's great to have that kind of trust with somebody that you keep going back to the well with them, whether it's a producer or your bandmates or an artist, because it is important to have that
Oh
trust.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was really fun to collaborate with Jack for this because it was a little bit more in depth than the other ones for sure.
Right on, right on. The third track is Lost at Sea, which was one of the singles beside Correction.
Yeah, Lost at Sea. Lost at Sea is about how we're kind of moving away from thinking about our impact on the future and how we don't really consider the future or the past right now. We're just kind of plugging ahead. And so that sort of reference in the chorus is, seven generations lost at sea. Seven generation like thinking came from First Nation people. And it's just really thinking about people that come before you and people that are coming after you and trying to not fuck things up for, in both those directions. So Lost at Sea is how we lost track of that pretty badly.
Yeah, that's very pertinent to right now, and
Yeah.
weird that we always get that wrong. And we should look to our native peoples to help us with that because we suck at it. Uh, Western people, we just blow at getting it
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
We
I
just
mean
don't get it right.
that simple idea, could really provide people with a different moral compass, but
Mm.
whatever.
We,
Anyway.
we don't have enough time in an interview to unpack that, but I
No,
agree.
but I hope that it just brings some people some food for thought.
Indeed, indeed. In a song that definitely also seems to point an arrow at me, I feel seen. Change takes forever is the fourth track.
Yeah. So that song, I love that song. That song, we went into like this full on like Motown chorus thing. I invited, the spirit of Pat Benatar and Tina Turner to the session and we just went for it like that. And Colin really did a fucking amazing job mixing all of the different vocal uh, tracks. And Jeremy sang along with me too. So there's just this big singing chorus, that then turns into kind of a round at the end. So yeah, I really love that song. It's super fun to play.
Right
Um,
on.
and
I
in
love.
terms of like the meaning, it's kind of like the whole album is kind of like that. It hinges on that. It's just like, this fucking shit takes forever, man. We're never going to get this shit right. And I think that's the point.
That is the point, living that life. By the way, you mentioned Tina Turner. I don't know if you're a big musical fan, but I saw some clips from the Tina Turner musical that's out right now
Oh,
in
yeah.
in New York, and it looks phenomenal.
Does it? Yeah, I should go see. You know what? I'm a stagehand. I'm a
Right?
union
Yeah.
stagehand.
Yeah.
So going to the theater for me is kind of like, it's a little bit of a, you know,
Why chefs don't sit down at a restaurant to eat a meal.
exactly.
Sand at the
But
beach.
I too have seen clips and I love the
Oh,
energy of the show for
yeah.
sure.
Tina is a goddess, man. The fifth track is Code Blue.
Code Blue is about meeting somebody and just being really compelled to like get to know them better. Initially it was about when I met my partner, but I think it sort of is this universal sort of, woman being like, you, I like you know and yeah, so that's what it's about.
Fun. A lot of fun. Good stuff.
Yeah.
The sixth track is, I'm going to do the gesture, Scythian Woman. I
Yeah.
practiced that one.
All right, very good, very good. You have to practice horseback archery though, because that's really what they were
There
into.
you go. I'm very paint by numbers in my whole life. So nice. Let's hear about horseback archery.
All right, so Scythian Women, another of my faves on the album, is a song that actually I think it might be the first song that like I brought to the band start to finish. I was just like, "Hey guys, let's do this." You know. Maybe, a little bit of arrangement, but it just kind of came to me in a, quick moment of and it's about the lyrics are about a archaeological dig, or they're inspired by an archaeological dig in Russia in 2019, like right before COVID dropped. This was like big news, uh and then it wasn't. But four, warriors in a tomb, all female, 12 through 50 years of age, um, all with like battle scars and armaments. And the 12-year-old was placed with their legs broken so that they looked like they were on horseback in death. So it was just this really heavy scene. And I just thought, wow, man, I want to honor these women by writing a song about them. They're like kind of, I think, what the Greeks considered the Amazons, but ultimately it was just probably really kind of surprising to see both women and men attacking in with the same ferocity. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Very cool, very interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up now because I think that
Yeah,
story
yeah. The
missed
pictures
me.
of the dig are really, really cool. And we actually uh we made a specific Scythian Women t-shirt that's available on our website, and it has a drawing that Jack did of that skeleton. So
Right on. That is very cool. The seventh and penultimate track is Hero's End.
Heroes End, that one we had written a while ago, and for me, that song is, and of course, I'm always coming at this from a lyrical perspective because I'm the main lyricist in this band. So most of these interpretations are the interpretations of the lyrics, right? But these lyrics sort of almost belie or betray the sound a little bit because they're about being peaceful and taking a moment and making the choice to either like jump on somebody or not.
Managing those instincts and feelings, maybe. Um,
Yeah, yeah, and just like what it is to really be heroic. Like, is vulnerability really heroic? Maybe. There's all these other sort of, I don't know. Yeah, so it's like that.
nice. And the epic closer of the album is Death is a Door. Very ominous.
Yeah, death is a door. So full disclosure, I mean, my lyrics are often a mishmash of like, things. And Death is a Door has a little bit of like this sort of reincarnation philosophy that I kind of toy with. And then also the idea that, people call death a transition, and a lot of people say so and so transitioned. So death is not necessarily like an end point. Could be, you know, but if people say your name enough after you're dead, you're not dead, really. You know what I mean? That kind
I
of
do.
thing. If you're and this is going to be kind of corny, but like if there's enough love around your name, then you're not dead.
No, I dig that totally, and I've been thinking a lot lately about, when you pass out of existence, where does your story go? Who tells your stories? Who's
Right.
around? I'm getting old, so I don't know. I'm starting to get
Oh yeah, me too. I mean,
starting to get old and
yeah.
and want to worry about these things. But yeah, that's killer. I love that song, and it's a great closer to the album.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
a complete and great album. This is the fourth release, third full length in a row, and you guys are pretty prolific. You put out one record, pretty much record tour record, and even with the pandemic, it
Well,
didn't.
I mean, you gotta work. If you're gonna do this shit, you better work, in the words of RuPaul.
Mm, indeed, indeed. So I know just as we wrap this up, and I really appreciate all you sharing all that deep intel on and your feelings on each song. I know you
Yeah.
have some touring coming up. I know you've done a couple of local shows. What's kind of on the horizon as we emerge from this crazy time in the world?
Oh, inshallah, we will go to Europe in May. Let's hope that the Polish border doesn't get breached.
Mm,
But I don't know if we'll go if that happens. But we might. I mean, who knows? Who knows what the fuck is going to happen in this crazy ass world? Is
ugh,
really what I'm trying to say.
yeah, it's brutal.
And so yeah, so we're doing a week, 10 days in Germany, and then we're coming back and we're going to Legions of Metal in Chicago, and we're going to do some shows around that. I think we're going Cleveland and Detroit. Yeah, so and then we are going to go to Metal Immortal in Pittsburgh. And sort of most of note is our record release show on the 26th of March, where we're having Lady Beast and Book of Worms come to New York and play with us. So we're really excited about that.
Two super killer bands, and you
Yeah.
always put on such a great show. And we maybe next interview we'll just talk about live and things like that because I've been very fortunate to see a bunch of your shows over the time when I lived in Brooklyn,
Oh,
especially, and
cool.
always love you guys live. But this album is crushing. I love it so much, and I really appreciate you sharing just your backstory. Not everybody's good like you and comfortable to do it, so I really appreciate you being game. And again, it's my pleasure to chat with you once again. Thank you so much for hanging out with Ghost Cult. I really appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.